Welcome to Design to Help Your Business Grow. I'm your host, Randy Lynn Johnson with Pasley Commercial Interiors. While many businesses focus on marketing strategies or product enhancements, the environment in which business is conducted often gets overlooked. Robin, is it fair to say that most business owners bringing on an interior designer see it as a cost rather than an investment?
I think that is probably true because they are imagining, all of the layers of costs that are going to go into their new space. They have, of course, the basics of just the lease and the utilities. Then we have to get the construction guys in there, the general contractors. And then if they're adding, walls and electrical, then they've got architecture and MEP. And I think they just think, I don't think I need somebody to make it pretty.
Right.
So I'm going to just cut that layer out.
Yeah. So how do we flip the script and help business owners recognize the profitability potential from a well-executed design?
Yeah. Well, for us, it starts with what sets us apart and how we do design is that we pay such close attention in finding out who they are as a business, why they do what they do, how they do what they do, and what would make them more successessure. Like that's literally how we talk to them. We don't talk to them about what's your favorite color.
Right.
And let's just make sure we have desks for you to work at. Like that's not how we approach design. We ask them, how do you want to be situated in our community as whatever business they are, who are your competitors? How do you stand apart from them? We talk to them with business strategy at the front of our minds and how they can grow their business. And we approach design from that conversation. And we understand too that their success is based on them having the best employees to partner with them that are working with them. So we come in from that angle as well to find out how can we help them keep their best employees. That's part of our discovery process with them is what would make your best employees stay and because we understand that that's an investment for them. When they train an employee, that goes a long way. If they can keep that employee for a long time, then that is adding to the value of their business. There's a truck backing up.
That's great.
Sorry. So from that angle, we believe that we're not just adding something pretty. Of course, we're going to do that because we are.
That's who you are.
Yeah,
your designs all look really good.
Thank you. We are going to be addressing aesthetics, but for us, we address them as a layer to business growth and strategy for how to make their businesses succeed. Yeah. Now, we are assuming they've already been doing all of their great parts of thinking about their business and their sales process or whatever they do to serve people. So we're just going to come in and be an investing piece of that.
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. And I think because a well-designed office space is going to retain the best employees and it's going to make those employees more productive, hopefully attract more clients, and ultimately drive business growth. So
that's what we believe for sure. And for me, the employee side of it, like I will work with a client who because they're thinking very much about the material that they're selling or the service that they're selling or whatever they're doing that is, their business. And then I'll start asking questions about how do you engage your employees? Where do you have meetings? We were just talking about this for a project the other day that we had all the other rooms set aside, but there was no place for them to meet as a team. And we started talking about how important it was for their team to have synergy. And if they didn't have a place to come together and face-to-face get around a table and work out issues with their sales process or whatever, that it was going to impact them. And that was a room that had kind of been left off of their own design plan. and when they were, talking to us about the spaces they needed. So we had to go back and design that into the space because it was going to be really impactful for their future growth if they couldn't,
huge.
Get that synergy with their team.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I know when it comes to design and thinking, we, in a previous podcast, we talked about the first impressions and how that matters.
Oh,
and,
gosh.
Coming into a space and.
Yeah. Well, so when you, I don't have the data in front of me. I wish I did right now. But if you have, do any research, just a Google search on client experience and what it means to people these days, it is outpacing product or service when it comes to what they're going back, revisiting a purchase or a service. It's more about client experience now than ever. Anything else. It's not about price. It's not about product. It's about experience. And I'm sure social media has something to do with this because, now we post, everything that we do.
Right.
We're sharing where we are, what it looks like. You get to go to other people's, social media accounts and see where they've been and to go to a place and just even accept a service like insurance or, whatever thing that before in our life was just kind of the thing we did to go do the other thing, the piece of a service or a product that we had to have to go do the other thing. Now it feels like that there is client experience needed at every level of our daily life engagement.
Definitely. And people really want an experience. I mean, you can look at the rise of coffee shops and it was anybody can make a cup of coffee, but people are wanting to go to comfortable spaces to work or places that feel good.
Yes.
Because they want that experience.
Well, and I think this is part of that FOMO thing, right? And I think this is where that social media piece plays in is you are watching your friend who just went to this amazing coffee house and you're looking around going, where's my amazing coffee house? I need to go I need to go right now. And I think that's piece of it is that, people want to feel like they're having their best life.
Yeah.
And then there is that other side of the coin of client experience. So there's the felt and seen environment, but then there's the customer service side of that. And I think that's part of what we work on with clients too, is how is the space being used to serve you and your customer, client, patient, whatever, the best. And so us helping them think through all of that engagement. We never assume that we know more than them, but sometimes we know more about space than they do, and we ask questions from that angle.
Yeah.
And I think, so another piece of the investment side of it is just squeezing every square inch out of a space to make it function for the client is one of our sweet spots.
Well, and because then that's going to help them from a costly expansion or relocation.
Absolutely.
If they can think ahead of time, be like, okay, we have this much room to grow, or we can, that's absolutely an investment in the future.
And, we partner with architects all the time, but because we are quasi, interior architects ourselves, the way that we see space and engage space is different from architects. And so I think having us in on the beginning process of talking to them about how they're going to use the space is super important. We find this quite often that if we get pulled in closer to the end of the project where we're just meant to go find materials, well, we're going to do our process with the client no matter what. We're going to ask all those questions. And 9 times out of 10, when we're with them, we start pulling information out of them that wasn't discovered previously. Whether it's, you need this special place for a piece of equipment, or you need this much cabinetry. Well, they gave you too much or not enough, and the layout of the cabinetry or whatever it is, whatever space usage thing there is, we often find out more information than was discovered previously when they were going into the architectural phase. And it can slow the process down because that is important. That function of that space is super important. And what we don't want is for them to get into the built environment, have spent tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars to get there and find out it's not functioning the way they need it to.
Yeah.
So we do put a lot of stock in our discovery process and just the way that we think about design, the way that we think about business, and what it means for the final product.
That's really great. So to sum it up, so if we are thoughtful with our interior design, if they get somebody like you to come alongside them and help them think, okay, we're going to keep our best employees. We're going to make sure that the space is welcoming to the clients. We're giving them that great thing. And then we're also thinking about how the space will lend itself to the future and avoid those costly.
Yes, the function. Yeah, so it's that first impression, the function, and keeping our best employees.
Yeah.
That's the things that we want. Those are at the top of our list every project.
Yeah. And that will help interior design be an investment and not just an additional cost.
Yes.
In an increasingly competitive market, the merits of using interior design as a strategic growth tool can make all the difference in not just surviving, but thriving.
Hasley Commercial Interiors, designed to help your business grow.